We've made over $254,000 on this unexpected rental item.
Most businesses wouldn't even think to rent this item out.
We have a list of all the items to add onto your inventory list.
To increase your sales and profits,
Stay tuned as we discuss the most profitable items you can rent.
and watch to the end to see what add-on item has made us over $250,000 in profits.
Having add-on items is a great way to build your inventory while also having all of the items necessary that you could pair out your other items with. And this could really grow your profits. So the first item on the list today is extension cords. Extension cords can be paired with most AV equipment, such as lightings, speakers, TVs, projectors, and other electrical equipment like heaters and fans. For a 100 feet by 12 gauge extension cord, we rent this out for $21 a day per item. For 50 feet extension cords, we rent this out for $13 a day per item. For our basic extension cord, we rent this out for $7.50 a day per item. And lastly, for our three-way adapters, we rent this out for $5 a day per item. This gives us an asset total of $713.88, with a sales total of $3,748.25, leaving us with a profit of $3,034 with 37 cents. The pros of this item is that if you're renting out any electronical items, you'll most likely need extension cords, especially if you're outside and doing things like tents where you'll need string lights installed. And a con of this item is that these items are so small and easy to forget that drivers would sometimes forget these items at the client's house.
Now, lighting is really good. You can use this on multiple different things. You can use it as a standalone item, or you can use it with the tents. Now, with the tents, what we use most of the time the lighting for is on 20 by 20s, 40 by 40s, 10 by 10s, 15 by 15s, basically any size tents you can possibly think of. Because most places, when they're throwing an event, they usually throw them closer to nighttime, and most times they have nowhere to see. Most customers don't think about this. So when they go through the process, like, oh yeah, I forgot, how am I gonna actually see what people are doing, how people are gonna dance. Now, string lights give a good mood lighting. We also have some other lights that we have that gives it more of a spotlight type of feel, and then we have a lot of little lights all as well. Now, when it comes to the string lights we rent out for $50 a day. This includes the setup cost as well. We use zip ties to hit them to the poles, or if we're using like on a pole tent, we have these little strings that go all the way across, and on those strings, we're able to zip them to there. When it comes into one of my favorite ones right here is the wooden spool with a parking light. So it's a pole and a parking light setup. Now this one right here, we rent for about $60 a day and then $40 with the wooden spool. Now that's about $100 a day for each one. And most times people will get one, they'll get 1 to about 4 or 5 of these right here to highlight their whole area. We did an event recently that was for a religious festival, and we set up like 5 or 6 of these. Now our asset total for string lights is not even that much. We only spent less than about $1,700 on these assets, and we've made already over $26,000 on just string lights. So the total sales on this right here is over $26,000. We made quite a bit. The profit on this right here, as you can see, is $25,000. That's crazy right now, and this is just an add-on. And realistically, these right here just help you boost your orders up, and you help you nibble it a little bit by a little bit up to there, and also gives your clients a better experience. Because most times they're throwing an event, and they're going to be having an event at nighttime, and they're going to associate that experience of you not telling them that with the experience of what they had with you and what they rented. Now, a couple pros and cons of this right here. Now, string lights, the pros are you make more money, you set up and everything, it's pretty good. The cons are that you have to make sure you get the right lighting. If you go through and you get actual lights that are glass, they're gonna break. And I learned this from Eddie right here. Cause we went out there one time and we had like 5 or 6 light bulbs that broken. We had to switch them out. So we ended up getting all of our lights changed over to the plastic ones so that it's easier to be able to set up, and you don't have to worry about them breaking and everything like that. So you have to worry about that. Now also too, if you're just a drop and go type of person, then this might not be working for you either. Because this is gonna be something you have to set up, you gotta take the time to put together, but there'll be more money that you get made from this.
This item is great, especially now that it's getting hotter. This thing is generally paired up very well with tents, and sometimes standalone too, because they just need equipment to keep everybody nice and cool during the event. So currently we charge $25 for a regular drum fan. We charge $132 for evaporator coolers, so your swamp coolers. And then for the large evaporator coolers, we charge $225 a day for the rental. Our asset total is $7,298 with 73 cents. Our sales so far for fans is $48,807, and our profit on those items is $41,508 with 71 cents. The fans are great. Upsell is super easy. You can easily just tell them, hey, you don't want your guests to be very uncomfortable, so you can make it more tolerable by adding a fan, getting a cool little breeze in there. Most part, everybody doesn't want to be hot, sweaty at a party, so they're really easy sells to do.
If you're a rental company looking for a software that could work for you, please join us at Rent More Pro. You could join our waitlist in the link in the description. We're currently looking for our second cohort of testers for our software. So join us, guys.
Call or text me so we can talk about how this software can change the course of your business.
Next up on our list is heaters. Now heaters are perfect because they can be basically an add-on to almost anything. If it's cold outside, you basically gonna need heaters. Now heaters work inside of tents, depends what type of heater you got right there. We see people use this on these patios. They attach them to any type of tables, set, or chairs anytime somebody rents something. We basically see them used inside of a warehouse to help the employees when it got really cold down here in Dallas. So they work at a lot of different places. You have tent heaters. These are specifically for the tent, and these are used to be able to heat the tent up so when you're in colder temperature, so in the winter or in early springs. Also too, you have space heaters. See, we call it a space heater right here, but basically any area you can use space to be electronics. We don't like to use electronics because just of all the stigma of burning people's houses down and stuff, so that's kind of why we don't really do that. We have a space heater that we use also for a tent heater. This one runs off of diesel. It works really well, easy to set up, and it heats up and it gets really warm. Next thing we have is patio heaters. Patio heaters are probably one of our biggest sellers. Patio heaters are basically, you use regular patio heaters from Home Depot. We rent them out. You can use them basically anywhere outside that you want to. Any area that is covering like a 10 by 10 square footage, you can use on there. Quick rundown, tent heaters, $240 a day. That's the most bang for your buck right there. Space heaters are $75 a day. They can do exactly what a tent heater does, but there's not exactly what they're meant for, but it works out. And then we have patio heaters of $105 a day. Now our asset totals is slightly under $7,200. We're sitting at $7,191.91. The sales totals for all of these has been $58,454.05. This is only include just the item, not any extra fees. Our profit, which is surprising, god damn, $58,262.59. The pros of heaters is that they're really quickly a really easy upsell. Usually if it's cold outside, you can go and kind of sell everybody on it. And another thing too is most people will ask for the heaters because this is the reason that they can actually do their event outside or not. Now the cons are you have to store these because for about 60% to 75% of the year, they won't go out. So particularly for us, they start in October and they'll stop in February. That's a little bit more time for us. It's like 5 out of 12 months. But for a lot of people, if you're in warmer conditions and stuff like that, you'll only be doing this for 3 months out the year. If you're in more colder temperatures, you might do this for half or more of the year. So you just gotta have a space to store this. But usually, wherever you put your fans at before and your cooling equipment, you just swap them out on there. Next on our list is gonna be sidewalls. Now sidewalls can be paired basically with any type of tent that you can imagine. Now there's obviously a specific sidewall for each tent. If you're doing 30 wides or 15 wides, basically most of those can be used the same. Now different sidewalls for different types of tents as well, but as Eddie probably was showing you guys, you can make anything work, but typically you want to get the right sidewalls for the that have the right connecting straps or the Velcro or the little clip pieces. You want to make sure you get those. And 20 by 20s will work on 40 by 40s if they're similar tents, if they have the right attachments pieces as well. 15 by 15s with 20 by 20s, so on, whatever range you kind of do. Now let's go over a couple of sidewalls right now. So now we have the 8 by 15. This is the sidewalls. This is solid sidewalls. Is $62.50 a day. Next we have the 8 by 15 cathedral sidewall. This is $62.50 a day too, same. Should be a little more, but right now it's the same. We have the 8 by 20 sidewalls, solid sidewalls that are $75 a day. We have the 8 by 20 sidewalls again, which are $75 again. The cathedral sidewalls, you typically want more. We have them the same right now, but we kind of want to change that. And now you have openings. Now our openings are the same. The 8 by 15 is the same cost as the 8 by 20 as well. They're both $94. Now our asset totals is basically a little shot underneath 6,000. It's at $5,743 is the total assets that we have on there. The total sales totals, which I think is the most impressive, is a little bit underneath 69,000. We're at $68,593, and our total profit is over $62,000, which is great for us right now. Now, pros and cons with sidewalls is that obviously the pros is you make more money. The cons is you have to pay something else you have to pay for, something else you have to worry about installing and setting up as well. And if you get the wrong sidewalls, they might not fit with the tent properly. So you need to make sure that is good. And also the sidewalls keep whatever temperature it is inside the tent, it keeps it the same in there. So if it's hot or it's muggy inside the tent, it's gonna stay that way too. So you need to have some type of air relation. So you need to be able to upsell people on that.
Next on our list is gonna be cement blocks. Cement blocks, you say? Yes, cement blocks. They pair great with tents. Generally use them down on cement or asphalt when the client doesn't want any kind of digging or drilling. Big money maker. We've also used them in a couple of colleges where they had like huge big screen TVs and they need something to wear it down. So you just put a whole bunch of cement blocks on there. All sorts of different applications you can use, but generally you're gonna use a lot with tents. All right, here's the part you're gonna like, guys. Each cement block is per leg. So if you have 20 by 20 and it has 4 legs, that's 4 cement blocks you charge. So right now we charge $70 a cement block. We also have cement buckets that have cement in it and an anchor. Those are at $35 a day. So yeah, big money maker. The only thing that you're probably not gonna like is it's heavy. And you know, sometimes it's not the easiest to get those things in the locations that the client wants it. But otherwise, for the most part, you can just pull your vehicle right up to the place where the tent's at, because it's generally like in a big parking lot. But the ones that have the cement blocks that need to go in the backyard, it's a little bit of a pain. And our asset total comes to a grand total of $3,000. Super low, doesn't cost a lot to make these things. And the sales total comes to a grand total of $82,210. A lot of money off these little cement blocks. Profits, even better, my favorite word. Total profit comes to $79,210. The pros of the cement blocks, super easy to make. All you really need is cement. We use diesel fuel as well so that it doesn't get caught on the actual form that we use. So the cons on the cement blocks are they're heavy. The weight goes anywhere from like 150 pounds all the way to 750 pounds for cement blocks, sometimes even more. So yeah.
Yeah, you know what's really heavy? Not having the ultimate checklist. If you don't have the ultimate checklist, it's gonna weigh your business down. So make sure you get the ultimate checklist, link down in the description, and we'll get back to it.
I was legit.
Next on our list is our cocktail tables. So our cocktail tables can be paired with tents or really just be a standalone item. So for tents, whenever people rent out cocktail tables, it's typically to pair with a bar or because they just want to have a space where they could stand up and not have to sit down. We rent our cocktail tables for $14.50, and we have an asset total of $7,991 and a sales total of $95,364.13. And this gives us a profit of $87,373.13. So the pros of cocktail tables, depending on if you get a plastic foldable one or a wooden cocktail table, is that both of them actually are able to get collapsed. For the plastic ones, you could fold it down, and for the wooden ones, you could actually tear it up into 3 different pieces. And this makes it easier to transport, and it takes up less space within your inventory. The cons of cocktail tables is that if you don't have any finishers on top of it, whenever it gets soaked in the rain or whenever it's left outside during wet seasons, your wood can start lifting and it can start damaging your tables. Another con is that sometimes delivery drivers might stack metallic items on top of the wooden top, and this might scratch the wooden table. So you'll just have to watch out for that. This could be paired with tables and chairs. For 90-inch round linens, we rent this out for $22.50 per day per item. For 108-inch rounds, we rent this out for $26 a day per item. For 120 rounds, we rent this out for $29 a day per item. For 90 by 132-inch rectangular linens, we rent this out for $36 per item per day. For 90 by 156, we rent this out for $35 per item per day. For 60 by 126, we rent this out for $27 per day per item. For 60 by 102, we rent this out for $24 per day per item. Now for our table runner, we rent this out for $3 per day per item. For table napkins, we rent this out for 75 cents per item per day. And lastly, for sashes, we rent this out for $1 per item per day. For all of these linens, we have an asset total of $23,469.57. We have a sales total of $277,209.08. This leaves us with a profit of $253,739 with 51 cents. So for the pros of linens is that typically whenever you have a party, people tend to rent out a lot of them, and that's so that they could accommodate for every single chair that they've ordered as well as every single table. This means that your order total might just start racking up due to the linen. The cons of this item is that you might need a lot of linens in your inventory so that you're able to accommodate for large parties. And another con is that if they get damaged, they are not likely to be repairable. This means that you're probably going to have to order a replacement for any damaged linens. And lastly, linens do require washing and ironing, which may take up more time and resources.
We love renting tents because of all the add-on potential it gives. Basically, you get the tent and everything underneath it.
He means everything.
Everything.
I'm Xavier Kelly.
I'm Eddie Sauceda.
And I'm Tina.
Okay. And we are the Rental Boys plus Tina. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
And if you like this video and would like to see more like it, please click this playlist right here to see some of our short form videos.